What?
And she would eat them, and she called it night eggs.
Jesus. Most women I found just keep Italo Calvino books, a lamp, and some, crystals next to their bed. This is, I don't know if this is an evolution or a devolution. Now, you want to know what I got on my bedside table right now? I got a magazine, I got a lint roller, and I got some Neosporin. I keep them there at all times.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. Well, I found that it's a real show of dominance when you have I'm not funny anymore.
You're too hungry to be funny.
I'm too hungry. I can't do it anymore.
You know what? Cue the intro.
All right, so I ate some more of my pubic hair, and I am now full, and I'm ready to do the actual intro now.
Okay, well, hello, everyone. That was disgusting. I'm Liz.
I thought it was pretty good. I'm Brace, and we are joined by producer Young Chomsky. This is the podcast TrueAnon Podcast, available on Apple, iTunes, podcast apps, also Stitcher. Why do people use different ones?
I don't know. I just use the one that comes with.
Me too. It's like when you see somebody has exactly. You see somebody's got another internet thing on their phone. It's like, what? How did you do that?
Also, it's not even how did you do it. It's like, were you that bothered? What's wrong with the one that comes with? Just go with the. What? You care that much about your applications? No.
How many podcasts are you listening to? Well, I shouldn't ask that.
What are you doing on your phone?
What's going on there? You know what I do? Is what I do
Just put the phone down.
If someone's texting me, I go into there and I type a bunch of stuff so it looks like I'm texting them back, and then I don't send it, so they're like, what was he going to say?
That's so awful.
One. Yeah, people love that one. Or I say, hold up.
You really are Dennis the Menace.
If you search my phone for hold up, there are thousands of people that I've just ended conversation with.
You fucking said that to me, you asshole.
Well, yeah, I know. I actually do. Well, because I can text for 5 minutes and I have to do something now. I don't understand how text is supposed to work. Because if you're texting, you have to look at your phone the whole time. But if I'm having a conversation with someone over text, then I have to look at my phone for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah. People like looking at their phones.
I just assumed you had another way to do that.
No.
But
okay, so last week we talked about Palantir with Noah Colwyn, and if you got to the end of the episode, you realized that we had more to talk about, and so welcome, that's this episode.
We are calling this the Dork Enlightenment.
Apparently that's what we're calling it. And Noah Colwyn is back to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Peter Thiel.
So, let me do it this time. So let's just start it right here. You like that?
Yeah, let's get to it.
What? No! Hold on! No! Do not cut to it! Okay, and let's roll it then.
What about if we roll it now?
No, you fucking...
I think we should get to it now.
Wait, hold up. Can we pause real quick? Actually, I'm sorry. I'm getting a really important phone call. Just kidding, bitch. Roll the fucking interview. So I'm really happy to welcome Noah here today because several times in my life, I have signed mutual suicide pacts. But those have almost exclusively been beautiful women who I've tricked and unfortunately had to flee the country because of. Today, what we're doing here is we are all looking at each other in the eyes over this beautiful online meetup thing, and we're agreeing to be sued into oblivion. So, without further ado, my name is Richard Franzak.
Hey.
Brace Belden was sick today. He couldn't make it, and he had absolutely no input on what we're talking about. I'm joined here by Lisa Loeb.
Absolutely.
And by Rob Schneider Jr. welcome.
Fine.
Turunan.
Sure. I'm rolling with it.
You know what? I have to say, because we fucked up last time, and we said that Noah was the first three-peat, and that's fucking wrong, and I feel terrible. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. Michael was 3, and Ben, of course, has been on 5 times.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah, well, I fucked it up because these are 3 standalone ones, and those were series. But yeah, no, that's literally, I was incorrect. Also, one thing I have to add, from friend of the pod, Twitter user Human, the InQtel thing that we talked about last time, Palantir CIA funder. The gentleman in charge of that, who helped fund Palantir, had previously. I mentioned that he brought Tetris over from the Soviet Union. What I didn't mention is that he did that under the auspices of Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father. So.
It all comes full
what a tangled
circle.
web we weave.
So as you can understand, we have, from all of the references we've made so far, we have Noah Colwyn back in the pod, and by that I mean our polypod, not the actual podcast herself. I don't believe we're recording. We have Noah Colwyn here to talk about Peter Thiel.
Yes, our good friend and ally.
Because we talked a lot about Palantir last time, and which, of course, you can't talk about Palantir without talking about Palantir. But we have, let's say, a little bit more of a focused gaze this time.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of talking about Oz without mentioning the wizard, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. We are talking about one of the most twink-loving men in Hollywood, Peter Thiel.
God damn it.
Yes. Sorry, guys. It's going to be a lot of that.
I mean, I think that the reason why we wanted to talk about Thiel and Palantir in particular was because Thiel, I mean, at least I've said this a couple times and I stand by it, that there's like 2 people in tech, Silicon Valley tech, however we want to call that scare me. And that's Peter Thiel and Jeff Bezos. And like those 2 people, I kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong, and maybe there's an interesting debate there, or maybe not. But, they strike me as not just like that they're somewhat ideologues, but there's a different sort of will to power behind them individually than maybe the other kind of, philosopher kings of Silicon Valley, the Zuckerbergs and the, Tim Apples and,
Priscilla Chan.
Yeah, what have you. But there's something about these guys, and we're not talking about Bezos, so we'll just focus on Thiel in particular. That that their project doesn't seem limited to just let's say like tinkering with new technology that could be fun, or just like having an impact on people's lives or whatever. Even Google doesn't. Even the guys at Google don't strike me as, let's say, as interested in world making as maybe someone like Peter Thiel.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good way to put it. And I think that Thiel is also, he is, there are other tech billionaires who are willing to throw their weight around politically, like, Mark Benioff, and even
future mayor of San Francisco, or one of his associates.
I've been paid $25 an hour to phone bank in the Salesforce office, and it was good money. It was more than I was making at regular work.
So like somebody like Benioff, and then even the so-called apolitical tech billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg. They're just as political and have just as much, are interested in putting their thumb on the scale. Peter Thiel is like an activist political billionaire in a really interesting way. And he's an activist in, how he acts as a businessman. He's an activist in how he approaches, where his personal political dollars go. And I think that like he is an ideologue. His ideology is pretty nebulous and it's hard to pin down, and that's how he wants it. But I think that it's absolutely worthwhile kind of trying to unpack a little bit, some of the mystery surrounding the man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wouldn't be fair to discuss one of the great apes of the jungle without discussing the jungle itself. So where Thiel is from, Thiel is like 90% of my enemies. And by the way, I know we have listeners in Germany. This is not about you or maybe some of your family members, depending on how far back we're going. But he is of German descent. his father is a chemist from Germany, which is one of the most, just racially, I don't feel good hearing those words put together. So I'm sure he left Germany. His father left Germany, went to South Africa. So out of devotion to principles of social justice in this apartheid era South Africa, and then settled here in America, where baby Teal was brought up, but he wasn't born. I believe he was born in Frankfurt. After that, Teal. Not super familiar with his early life, don't really give a fuck, but a very important thing to note is that he went to Stanford. And like everybody who went to college never stops talking about it. He's you know how you see well, actually the first person that comes to mind is Jeffrey Epstein, but he didn't actually go to Harvard. But you see like a 50-year-old wearing like a sweatshirt that says like NYU or something, and you're like, come on, man. You went there. Why are you thinking about that? I don't think about my middle school.
I think the rule is that, like, after age 25, if you own college apparel and you're not presently enrolled there, then, like, that, not cool. Lame.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're a pedophile. And actually cut that. Actually, you know what? Keep it in. Keep it in. No,
yeah,
you are a pedophile. Yeah, except for Peter Thiel. But Peter Thiel is one of those guys who is very much into the politics and the teachings of his alma mater, which would be Stanford. He went there and has continued to be an activist voiced on campus.
Well, and he also taught a class there has taught a course there called 0 to 1 that I mentioned. Was also the name of his book in the Palantir episode. The thesis of which is about how like every sane business, every good smart startup aspires to be a monopoly and so on. And I think that he that's sort of as much as you need to know about like some of the pedagogy that's going on there. There's not too much more to it that I think a thinking person should really have to care about.
In this guy's case, it's the pedagogy repressed.
That
is really good. That's really good, man. I got to give it to you.
I also want to say that, Harvard and Yale get a lot of attention for the people that come out of there and where they end up in, in media and academia and, of course, in the government. But, Stanford deserves just as much. We don't talk about Stanford in the same way that we talk about Harvard and Yale, or it doesn't get thrown around in that because for whatever reason it's on the West Coast maybe, but
I think that's literally why.
Stanford Business School is